What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me have some more RPG horror stories. In today's RPG horror story cringe, I just want to say I hope you're having yourself a wonderful day, and hopefully the stories we read for today will either put a smile on your face or maybe shock you in disbelief, or just in general give you a little bit of escapism. Escapism is really nice. I really enjoy this kind of just escapism in D&D, VR role plays, and MMO, a nice good old RPG, and just feels kind of nice just not being like IRL myself and just be a tiefling on the internet for today. Let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Play wanted a stream-like experience just because of my job. I'm a voice actor and have worked in the industry for a better part of the last 15 years. I don't work in English, so just a heads up, I might not be someone you recognize. That being said, one of my hobbies has always been teaching RPG games, and I believe that have influenced my decision to pursue this career. I've been a DM for as long as I can remember, and it's truly the way I enjoy the games. Just because I'm a voice actor doesn't mean my games are any better produced, or that I perform thousands of voices for immersion. To be honest, I tend to not do voices for my NPCs. After doing that all day for work, I don't feel like continuing it in my free time. Up until now, it hasn't been a problem. However, my usual group has become unable to play regularly due to scheduling conflicts. Since TTRPGs, particularly D&D, have been my hobby for such a long time, I didn't want to stop playing altogether, so I asked my friend who owns a game store if he knew anyone looking to join a game. And he did. He set me up with 4 players, 3 experienced ones and 1 who had only played a few one-shots. Our games were going to take place in my friend's store, so I met them briefly beforehand and held a session 0 to discuss how my games are run and to help them come up with characters. They all seemed eager, and honestly, it really pumped me up. That was until our actual first session. We set up and started the session right away. The problem was, all that initial excitement seemed to vanish as soon as I began to speak. I didn't think much of it at first, but it got progressively worse. I could see the frustration on the face of the experienced players, and the one who had just started playing eventually pulled out his phone and began scrolling through his feed. Whoa, let me guess, they were expecting some sort of a voice actor experience, but you didn't give the voice actor experience? Also, how would they know about you being like some sort of an entertainer? I think what ended up happening is that your friend basically asked some guys in the store, hey, you want to play with a professional voice actor as a DM? And they went, oh heck yeah, fam, I'll do it. And then when I sat down at the table, they realized you're just playing, as you are, and you're not actually putting on a voice, and suddenly they were like, lame. Which is really rude of them to do so, honestly. Don't expect people, even if they are professional voice actors or anything, don't expect them to put on a performance for you or a show for you. These are people that just want to have fun and play a game. I know people that are voice actors, hentai voice actors, even like porn stars, weirdly enough. But like, I don't ask them to put on a performance. I just wanted to play a damn game and just play funny math rocks with them, and that's all I want to do. I don't expect anything from them except for them to have fun and have enjoyment. And if they're DMing, I just want to be part of their game and just be part of the world. Don't expect something out of somebody. They're not doing you a service. It's not a paid game. It would be one thing if this was a paid game and then one caveat was some sort of voice acting performance by a voice actor with credibility, but like, this is not what it is. The guy just wants to play some D&D with somebody and that's it. Or girl, I don't know who you are, but the player wants to play some D&D and these people are just expecting a performance. At one point, it got a bit too overwhelming and I called for a 10-minute bathroom break. When I returned to the table, I overheard them complaining to my friend, the store owner. They were saying, and I quote, "You said he was a freaking voice actor." They then proceeded to curse me and complain that I wasn't giving them the experience they wanted to my friend, who seemed cornered even though I could hear him trying to defend me. Maybe it's not your friend necessarily, but these guys have such a high expectations for nothing. It's a free game, they get to join it. What do they think? You gotta put on a whole show for them? That's the kind of stuff you get paid for. You get paid for your voice acting job, and I think if you want to put on voices for your TTRPG or D&D games, people should be paying you for that experience because it is an experience. These guys have such entitlement. They think, oh, we're getting a voice actor. We demand the voice actor thing. You get to join a game that somebody's willing to run a game for. Be grateful for that. They stopped when I came into their field of vision, but it was clear I heard everything. They just packed up their things, got up, and left without even saying goodbye or goodnight. This was frustrating to say the least. It seemed they were expecting a high level of D&D with plethora of voices, sounds, and other immersive elements. While it's fine for them to have their own expectations, it did bother me. Is simply asking for a straightforward TTRPG experience too much to ask? No, not at all. These guys just dickheads. Literally, just absolutely rude ingrates. that honestly aren't worth your time. It's kind of like when people go into a TTRPG or go into D&D expecting the DM to be like Matt Mercer and for the games to be like Critical Role. That's not what D&D is. Like, yeah, on the show it is, obviously. Not every DM is a Matt Mercer, and not every game is going to be a Critical Role campaign. Every campaign is going to have its own style, theme, play style, its own pacing, its own DMs, its own players. OP just wanted to play a game, and that's all they wanted to do. They just had that itch, they wanted to satisfy the itch, and instead of dealing with absolutely entitled ingrates trying to just expect some sort of a performance from them. OP, I'm sorry that happened to you. You deserve way better. Well, nothing I could do over spilled milk. I guess I'll just wait for one of my friends' schedules to align again. Which sucks, but hey, what can one do? Thanks for reading. I know it's not as bad as the others, but yeah. Good night. Edit, just to make sure there's no misunderstandings, my friend only mentioned my job to arrange the schedule. He didn't advertise it, or promote it, or do anything extraordinary. He knows my style, so I don't think he would do that. Maybe you should get together with your friend and some other friends of his, like, non-advertising, like, voice acting experience friends, but like, another group of friends to play. I don't know. Either way, OP, I wish you the best. Let's get to the next story for today. DM rips off the Red Wedding in a disgusting way. So me and a group of friends have been playing D&D on and off again for about a decade. We generally alternate between two forever DMs. But around 5 years ago, our group's that guy had been begging us for about a year to be the DM. We're all reluctant because he tends to roll up murder hobos and sex creeps exclusively. Our DM at the time even said, "Oh, bro, you just gotta build a murder fantasy campaign." But he insisted and even typed up like 10 pages of lore on the world he was working on. Basically, a campaign set in a post-apocalyptic world that was once temperate, but now is becoming colder and colder for unknown reasons, and slowly strangling civilization. The idea sounded badass, so we told him he would give it a chance, providing the other DMs get to talk to him about some of the principles of DMing, i.e. discouraging selfish behavior, allowing players to help guide the story, etc. So after that campaign ended, that guy became our DM, and 2 other players came to join our campaign, bringing it to the 5 players. Orc Wizard, Dwarf Artificer, Human Bard, Dragonborn Fighter, and me, a half-elf paladin. The campaign initially went really well, the story was engaging and the BBG was compelling. Basically, our enemy was an evil paladin serving the god who cursed this world. We've had stories before where that guy basically became a DM, and I gotta be honest, they never end pretty. We've never had one that's a success story. They always end in failure. Anyway, let's keep on reading. For about 3 months, we were able to work with the DM to tell this story. It was particularly fun for me to represent a paladin on the side of the god directly opposing the BBG's god. But around 3 months in, things started to change. Things might have inadvertently derailed the campaign by exploring a dungeon too early and allowing Orc Wizard to murder a priest who was supposed to help us. But the game just started getting progressively staler, and I think the DM didn't know how to get us on the weird detour we took. And because we started getting very little direction from the DM or his world, we ended up going off to random cities that turned out to have nothing to do with the campaign. They didn't even have compelling side plots or alternate hooks. I remember even talking to the DM about this, and he denied there was a problem, so I would be going again. But months kept passing and he honestly seemed to lose interest, as did the group. After some of us expressed some desire to run a couple of one-shots, which is usually our group's code for, let's consider starting a new campaign. Weird, I know, but we usually don't just randomly start up one-shots. We didn't finalize anything, but the DM of the next session had us run into a noble named Henry Minicock, who was planning a wedding for his daughter and a foreign lord to solidify the resistance against the BBEG. In the session after that, we attended the wedding, hoping that this would reinvigorate the game. Why Henry Minicock? I mean, maybe there's like an inside joke about it or some sort of a funny haha. Is it because he has cock in his name? Oh wait, the title has something about a red wedding. Did he base the world off of Game of Thrones? Is he based on the character Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, but instead changed a little to mini and finger to cock? Is that what it is? Is that the reference? Well, during the wedding, Henry walked his daughter down the aisle and disappeared. DM noted this, so we asked if we noticed, and he said our passive perception was too low. We as a group were kind of thinking, oh crap, he's doing like a red wedding type thing. If only. The priest married the couple and shuffled them off to an eerie music started playing, and the doors started closing. We all kind of chuckled and we were like, yep, it is. But as the music stopped, a bunch of armed men stood up and attacked our retinue and our party as we expected, and we had to roll initiative to fight them. It was way too many. We got down as we started thinking, is he really gonna end the campaign with a TPK? But he decides to go another route, a TPR. As the party and our retinue were down, Henry's soldiers gangbang not only our retinue, but the party. The gangbang is apparently so intense that it counts as failed death saves and we die. Really? Is that really how you want to end the campaign? On a TPR? On a big gangbang-a-thon where people's rolling death saves because the gangbang is just so rough? Is that really how you want to do it? Well, there's more to it. Let's finish it. Might as well, before I give my final thoughts. At this point, the party was like, what the hell? And another player said, you could have just ended the campaign. Why Sourwood was once a good time, a good campaign with this nonsense? And I chimed in and said, yeah, we could just retcon and have the campaign end off on a cliffhanger. The DM was like, come on guys, they've been way too sensitive. It was a funny way to end the campaign that was going stale. You're all tired of it too, don't lie. We then went back and forth over this, and one player oddly enough took DM's side. To resolve this, we all sort of in our own mind made up our own canon ending and agreed not to let him DM again. Luckily, he never asked again. The one lesson we learned is that having a good premise and lore does not make you a good DM. You should adapt with your players. And it goes without saying not to end a campaign like that. Yeah, you shouldn't end the game and the campaign on a TPR, on mass gangbang where everybody just dies and gets gangbanged. Because guess what? Your players are not going to remember the good parts of the campaign and the fun they had if it ended on a really bad, terrible, and good for nothing end. Think of Game of Thrones. Do you think people are going to remember the beautiful adventures and the most epic storylines I went through and all the great characters? No. The most memorable thing that's going to happen in Game of Thrones is all the flubs they did for this season and how it ended on a really crap season. All the flubs they did for the end of the season just absolutely sucked life out just with watching experience. I didn't even finish the last episode, and then I heard how crap it was and how stupid it was, and I was glad I didn't watch it, because it ended on such a stupid note. Now obviously I can in retrospect watch back and think about it. There was some great awesome aspects of it, just the ending sucked. But guess what? The ending is the one thing that gets remembered the most in this situation. And all these players are going to just remember that they played a campaign with that guy as a DM and they all got TPR'd. You know what? It also adds to our track record of that guy's DMing. It never goes good. So far we're like 2 for 0, or maybe 3 for 0. I think 4 for 0 at this point, counting all of our RPG horror stories. So far there's no exception to the rule, and as far as I'm concerned, don't let that guy's DM, because they don't know what DMing is like. They don't have the mentality for it, don't have the capacity for it. They need to really learn how to be a good player before they can be a good DM. Anyway, OP, I'm sorry the story ended this way, because man, that sucked. It seemed like y'all were having a good time. Why not just talk to your players? Listen, okay, so some lessons we can learn from here. If the game is not going great and people are getting tired of it, talk to your players about it. Figure out a way you all together can make the plot go forward properly instead of just meandering without any sort of communication saying, no, don't worry about it. Everything is, going perfect to plan. Nothing is going perfect to plan. Communicate with your players. Ask them what they want to do. This is the best way to continue so everybody can have fun. If I ever get stumped at some extensions or some points, you know what I do? Ask the players, hey, what do you guys want to do for today? What do you guys want to do for the next session and stuff? Is this something specific you want to try to do? Go to a place, go see things. Do you want to earn riches? Do you want to fight something cool? What would you like to do? Communicate with your players for easy solutions and easy ideas. Simple. Ask them what they want to do, facilitate that, and then add your own spin to it. Easy. I literally gave you the cheat sheet. If people don't use this cheat sheet, I'll be sorely disappointed. And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.